Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing the F2020 book tag, or the Forget 2020 book tag. I was tagged last month, I believe, by Lady Jane Books, and I did record this video last month, but I wasn't satisfied with it, and I was supposed to edit it, but I left it for way too long and I deleted the footage and so I could do it again. So this is take two. So I have all the questions and answers written down, so from last time, so or from the previous time that I actually recorded this video. So hopefully it'll be easier this time to actually go over these questions and yeah, answer these questions as best as I can. And before I get into these questions, I just want to say that it is a bit cold in the United Kingdom right now, and it is affecting my throat a little bit. So if I cough or if I sniff occasionally, apologies for that, but I will try to keep it to a minimum. So question one. Share some good stuff that happened in 2020 and some bad stuff if you want to. So let's start off with the positive stuff. I started this channel last year in March, the 27th of March. So expect there to be kind of an anniversary video on my channel on the 27th of March. Not sure what it will be, but I will think of something. I suppose I read more. So that's another positive thing, because we were in several lockdowns. I believe we are in our third lockdown right now, but because when we were in one lockdown and when we came out of it, we straight away, probably in a couple of weeks time, 2 or 3 weeks later, we immediately went into another lockdown. So that gave me a lot of chance and opportunity to read more than I would usually have actually read, because we're supposed to be staying indoors, so that gives me a lot of time to actually read. Yeah, and it led me to actually create this channel, and I've actually met so many great people from this, from doing this channel and from doing these videos. So many nice people have actually commented on my videos, and I've actually made some friends as well, people that I have actually not actually met face to face, but people that I have met and come across on this channel that I would have never have talked to, or I would never have messaged them or even known about them if I didn't actually start off this channel. And the bad stuff, virus, yeah, it's kind of a given. Last year we had loads of well, not loads, but we had a good amount of protesting, which is still going on. People saying that the virus is BS and it's not real, and people not wearing masks. And last year, and it's even been bleeding into this year as well, people aren't wearing masks and not following the rules. And it kind of makes me lose faith in humanity. But if it wasn't for this channel, which is holding that up. But yeah, the virus happens over here at the end of March, or at the middle or endish of March. No one expected it. No one knew how it would affect our country as well and the world. And it really, as I said, it really irritates me that when people over here aren't following the rules, like wearing masks, they aren't keeping distancing from each other. And I don't go outside that much anyway, so because of that reason. So yeah, that's some of the good stuff and some of the bad stuff that happened in 2020. Question 2. What book did you love at the beginning of the year? That is probably going to be Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I read this at the beginning of 2020, which was, I believe, either in January or February. And I also did a reread of it this year as well. I read it last month in January of 2021, and there's a video on my channel right now. I will link it down below in case you are, in case that you want to watch that. But Good Omens I read last year for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. I watched the mini-series once or twice, I believe, before I read the book. So going into it, I knew what to expect. I knew what the characters were going to be like, and I knew what the story was going to be about. The difference between the mini-series and the book, it's a very faithful adaptation, but the book does have slight differences from the mini-series, and there is scenes in the mini-series that are different from the book. But I really enjoyed this book. It can be serious at times, but for the majority of it, it's a more light-hearted read. I listened to it, as I said, last month on audio. I never smiled so much while listening to an audiobook. It was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. Question 3. A book you were looking forward to that ended up not great. That would probably go to Artemis by Andy Weir. Andy Weir first published The Martian, which is such a classic science fiction story, and even though it's not that old, but it's so good. Even the movie was really good as well. It was brilliant. But the book of The Martian really impressed me a lot. I read it last year for the first time, and it was fantastic. But when I was going to read the next book by Andy Weir, which was called Artemis, I was extremely excited about it. It was a heist movie set on the moon, so I was up for it. I was really excited to read this book, but it was a letdown. The character was okay. The story was okay, nothing special. There were some scenes in it that, or characters that I liked, but they were very minor, and like one here, maybe one there, and one here, and one at the end. It wasn't that great. It really wasn't. It was a struggle to read it. I mean, the book was fine for what it was, but it was a massive letdown for me. It was a massive disappointment. I know that there are fans of this book that like this novel, and if you're one of these people, that is that is great. It is great that you love something that I didn't necessarily hate, but I was disappointed in. Question 4. A book that surprised you this year. That would definitely go to The Ruins by Scott Smith. I had it in my room for such a long time. I knew that there was a movie based on it, but because of that, I think I was judging it before I even read the book, because my experience of horror movies, even though horror is probably my top favourite genre that I tend to gravitate towards, horror movies for me tend to be hit or miss, and most of the time they are always a miss. They always contain all these teenagers that you have no attachment to, and the movies mostly contain jump scares, you know, loud noises, boo, someone jumping out and saying boo, and loud noise and all that type of stuff. It's a very cheesy way of scaring the audience, so I went into it with an open mind with that, because I knew that it was I knew that people were saying, oh, that this is a really great novel and really good novel. I read it I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be something I'll be reading. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much, but that book was so good. It was a massive surprise. Even though it didn't have any chapters in it, it was one continuous book, but the story was so good. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know who was going to die and who was going to live. You didn't know what was going to happen, and it gave me the impression that no character in this book was safe. That anyone could die at any given time, and it was really good. It really was good. My only criticism was with it, apart from having no chapters in it, was that it could have been shortened down to about 20 or 30-ish pages. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that book. So question 5. A book you liked but no one else does or talks enough about. I mean, the book I chose to answer this question isn't really a unknown book. People know about this book, but I personally think that people aren't talking about it enough. And that is Dune by Frank Herbert. I read this last year, and to be honest, this is probably my favourite book from 2020. I know the reason why people aren't reading it is because they are intimidated by it, because it's high epic not fantasy. It's high epic science fiction rather, and people are more aware about it because of the movie adaptation or the new movie adaptation about it. You shouldn't be intimidated by this book, guys. My copy had a glossary at the back, and every time that I couldn't understand a certain concept or character or event, all that stuff is on YouTube. You can just Google it, and not Google it. You can actually search it on YouTube, and you will find stuff that will give you your explanations about about the spice, about the different characters. The family relationships between that are in this book. You can just search anything on Dune on YouTube and you'll be able to find it. But that book, I think that people aren't talking about it as much, but I would like to see more people reading it and giving it a try. Even if you read it and you don't like it, that is fine. Yeah, that's the book that I chose because I think that people aren't talking about it as much. So question 6. A book you want to come out already this year in 2021. That would go to Later by Stephen King. I know this book is going to come out next month, 2nd or 3rd of March. And I mean, obviously because it's Stephen King, I'm going to read it anyway. But before I bought it on, because I've already pre-ordered a copy of it, a physical copy of it. I read the synopsis. I would have bought it anyway, regardless about knowing what it was about, because it's Stephen King. But the storyline gives me the impression that it's about a son and a mother, and the son has a kind of a powers of some sort. It didn't specify, and the mother knows about. The mother knows about it, but she's trying to suppress it. Well, not suppress it, but try to make sure that her son doesn't draw attention to himself using his powers. And the FBI or someone like that comes to that boy and asks them to assist them in a crime of some sort. So it looks like it's going to be a cross between Firestarter and The Dead Zone, also by Stephen King. This one is probably a bit short. It's going to be probably about 300-ish pages long. I'll be reading it on my channel and reviewing it on my channel next month. So I'm excited to actually get to that one. Question 7. What book were you looking forward to that got pushed back to 2021? It probably means a book that was supposed to be published last year that got pushed back to this year because of the virus or maybe for other reasons. I'm not sure about that, but a book that I wanted to read last year, that I'm going to be reading more of this year, is going to be Lord of the Rings. Last year I read The Fellowship of the Ring, which I did as a buddy reads with Kayla Lenzen. That was extremely enjoyable. And I was under the impression that we were going to be reading the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy together. But at the end of last year, in December time I think it was, Kayla messaged me on Facebook telling me that she had been listening to the majority of the Two Towers on audio, and it wasn't really her thing. She said that she wasn't really enjoying it. So I didn't want to force her to actually read the book that she wasn't going to enjoy, and I was actually waiting, because after we read The Fellowship of the Ring, I was actually up for straight away reading the other two books, but I wanted to wait for her to give me the words. But when it came to my attention that she didn't want to, because she wasn't interested in in the books. I thought, okay, it's fine. So last month I read the was it last month or it was even December or January, I can't remember. Yeah, oh no, wait, it was January, I actually remember now. January I read The Two Towers, which I did a video on, which wasn't a collaboration, it was my own thing. And again, link will be down below if anyone cares. And I am going to be reading next month, at the end of next month, The Return of the King, but that one will be bleeding into, I'll be starting that one in March, but that one will be bleeding into April, so I won't be reviewing it on my channel until April. But I'm extremely excited about reading, and I mean reading the last book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think that when I think that when I finish that trilogy, I might read the Silmarillion. Sorry, I will put it here so you know what I'm talking about. I believe that book isn't an actual novel. I believe it is a encyclopedia about the whole characters in the universe of Middle-earth. So yeah. I actually might read that one after Lord of the Rings, but I'm not sure. So the final question, question 8. What book will you think of when you think of 2020? That is easy for me. That is The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Last year, that was the first book that I ever read by that author, and it's actually got it's actually got a movie based on it as well called Hellraiser, and the Hellbound Heart is only 100 pages long, so it's a novella. But based on that 100-page book, I was hooked instantly with reading Clive Barker. I knew when I finished it, I knew, right, that's it. I've got to read everything that this guy's ever written. So I've been buying a lot of his work on my Kindle. And anything that I can't get on Kindle, I've been buying a physical copy of it. I know that his first published work, The Damnation Game, I can't get on Kindle for some reason. So I bought a physical copy of it, which I'll be reviewing on my channel next year, and not next year, next month rather. I can't wait for that. But yeah, it was just a nice introduction to Clive Barker and his imagination, because he's got a wide and vast imagination. He really does. It's not just it's actually not just gory or violence for being. I mean, it's actually not just violent for being violence or violence sake, if that makes sense. It does have great characters in it, and the imagery that you can imagine in your head while you're reading his books is so great. It's so vivid. You can just picture everything that he's describing in the book. And yeah, and that's the book that I remember mostly from 2020. So that's it, guys. That is the F2020 book tag, or the more polite version, the Forget 2020 book tag. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Once again, sorry if my voice has been sounding a bit strange, or stranger than usual, or if I've been coughing or sneezing a bit during this video. I did make a coffee halfway through recording this tag video, so I've been trying to keep it under control, and hopefully it hasn't been too bad. So I've got to tag some people now. I've made a list of 4 booktubers, which I will link down in the description, so in case you want to check these people out. So the first person I'm going to be tagging is Tiffany from Loveless Degrees. She's probably been waiting such a long time for me to do this video. I tag Tiffany at Loveless Degrees. She is incredible, she's amazing. I watch all of her videos and I love her channel so much. And I've been following her channel for a while now as well. The next one is it's my most recent channel that I'm subscribed to, which is called Cherry Actually Reads. She's a very sweet young lady, and even though I've only watched a couple of her videos, I really enjoy them. So the next person I'm going to be tagging is Rose at Rose K Reads. I've got to give Rose a shout out. Rose is a very friendly, enthusiastic person about books. She's the only person that I know that takes 4 books out with her whenever she goes to the park to read. And 90 to 95% of the things that she picks up and reads is books that I am more likely to pick up and read myself. So yeah, Rose at Rose K Reads, I tag you. And the last person I'm going to be tagging for this is Coffee, Cats and King. He is a very great horror-based booktuber, although he does have interests in other stuff, as well, like science fiction and fantasy and other stuff as well. But the majority of the stuff that he talks about is horror. He's a very cool and laid-back person and guy. I can just watch his videos and I can just relax and just sit back and relax and just watch his videos. He's really, really good to actually watch. So that's it, guys. There is my Forget 2020 book tag. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're new. If you do subscribe, please click on the little bell notification just so it reminds you about whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. And I will also link down below a link to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on there. And yeah, with all that said, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.